Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys a detailed tutorial for how to make the Levi window collage. If you follow me on TikTok or Instagram on Moon Journals, then you would know which video I'm talking about. This video is by far my most popular one on both Instagram and TikTok. It has nearly a million views, nearly a million likes on TikTok, and that's insane. I never thought I would ever get that far, so thank you so much for that. And also I've seen some recreation videos already where people would try to make the same thing, and I think that's so cute and so sweet. People would like tag me in the videos, and I love seeing that. But yeah, I don't know, like I never thought that I would be able to be some sort of an inspiration to other people. So seeing other people like doing what I'm doing and like liking my creation so much that they want to make it themselves, that's so flattering to me, and I feel so honored to be on the receiving end of that. So thank you so much for all the support on the Levi window collage video. But yeah, this is going to be a more like detailed tutorial. A lot of people have been asking me for a tutorial since I put that video out, but I've just been very lazy and pushing it off, and I just didn't want to film it, even though I've made like 10 of these by now. I was initially going to do a shorter tutorial like on TikTok or Instagram, like a 1-minute video, but then there were some things that I wanted to explain more in depth, and I wouldn't be able to do all of that in a minute or under, so I figured it would just be easier for me to go on YouTube and where I can put on like longer videos. I also went ahead and already put all the materials and items that you're going to need in the description box below, as well as the links to where you can get them. None of them are affiliate links, by the way, so I'm not going to get any sort of commission or anything like that. It's just links so you guys know where to get it from. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have anything else to say. We can go ahead and get started on the tutorial. And by the way, I'm a fast talker, as you can tell already just from this introduction, and I'm not the best at explaining things, so if I don't clarify it enough, or if you're confused about some part, I'm hoping that the visual aid will be enough to help you understand what I'm trying to do. But if not, feel free to leave it in the comments below and ask questions clarifying anything, and then yeah, like you can even DM me on Instagram. I'm always available to answer your questions. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. I like to start off by first cutting out Levi's body shape just to get that out of the way. I am using an X-Acto knife for this whole thing. However, if you want, you can use scissors to cut out the longer parts like his torso or his arms, but for the finer details like his fingers and that space between his head and his shoulder, you're going to want to use a knife for more precise cuts. And for his fingers, I recommend leaving a little bit of the darker background as sort of an outline for his fingers, just because they're very thin and delicate and you might rip it on accident, so it's nice to have that extra space. And also it just looks better because it's like a darker contrast against the light color of his skin. And after you're done, just cut out any like excess parts, and there you go. For the next step, I'm taking my ruler and pencil to mark the rectangular shape of the window. I'm using a 4x6 inch cardstock paper, so if you have the same paper size as I am, then I do a 0.75 inch margin for the top and the bottom, and then on the sides it's going to be a little bit thicker at 1.25 inch margin. So just go ahead and draw all 4 lines on all 4 sides of the paper. And then in the midway point where the 2 flaps are going to open and close to meet, that's roughly 1.8 inches from the end of the window, not the end of the paper. It's not exactly half, but it's okay as long as it looks roughly evenly divided. It doesn't matter. Then you're going to take your ruler and X-Acto knife, and you're simply going to cut along the lines that you drew. For now, only cut through the bottom, the top, and the middle where the flaps are going to meet, but don't do anything about the sides just yet. I've seen some recreation videos where people would try to force the window flaps to fold over. I don't recommend doing that, because even if you use a ruler, it's not going to come out straight. The creases are going to be all uneven, and it's not going to work out well in your favor at all when you try to go in with the washi tape to add borders later on. So instead, what you're going to do is you're going to flip the paper over, you're going to take your ruler and X-Acto knife, and you're going to score it. What that means is you're going to gently apply pressure just enough to cut through maybe half of the thickness of the cardstock paper, and you're going to repeat that process on the other side, so that when you flip it over, it's going to fold over very smoothly, very easily, with no problems, and you're going to have a straight line on the crease as well. For this next part, I like to go in with my black gritted washi tape to create a border for the windows, just because it looks a little bit plain on its own for me. And then because the washi tape is a bit thick, I like to cut it in half using my paper cutter. Making sure that your windows are open for this next step, you're going to take that strip of washi tape and you're going to place it over the bottom of the window, making sure that only half of it is on the paper, so that when you flip it over, you're going to take your knife and you're going to cut the corners so that you can neatly fold it over, and that creates a nice bottom border. And then that way when you flip it over, don't try getting rid of the end strips just yet. Just take it off of the window flap and place it neatly onto the paper. You're going to use that again later on, so don't cut it off yet. And then you're just going to repeat that for the top border as well. Once you've done the borders for the top and the bottom, I like to go into the inner flaps. This one is a lot easier and much more straightforward. You just take that same strip of washi tape and you're going to place it over halfway and then fold the other half onto the inner side. And then you're going to take your knife and simply cut off the extra parts at the end, since you're not going to need that. For the top and bottom borders of the window flaps, you're going to repeat the same process that you did for the longer strips on the top and bottom of the entire window. You're going to take your strip of washi tape and you're going to place half of it over the front side of the window flap, and then you're going to flip it over, take your X-Acto knife and you're going to make a small cut on the corner again, so that it makes it easier to fold it over onto the back side of the flap. Once you've secured the tape onto the borders, you're going to take your X-Acto knife and start cleaning off the edges. And when you close it back again, notice how there's 2 layers of washi tape at the ends of it. You're going to leave the bottom layer alone, so instead you're just going to gently take the knife and remove the top layer, because you don't want it to get too bulky later on. For the final part of the border, you're going to go in with your washi tape to put onto the crease, but before you do so, I like to fold the washi tape in half, and then that way you can align the fold of the washi tape with the crease of the paper, and it's just easier to place that way. And then for the finishing touches, go in with your knife to remove any excess ends that you have from the washi tape that you just put on right now, or from earlier as well. And then also, if you have some sort of a rounded tip, like the back of your knife or the back of a pen or even just your finger, I recommend pressing onto the washi tape of that creased part, because the adhesive isn't going to be as strong as the other parts, since you did touch it more to fold it in half. So just make sure that it's nice and secure on there, and then finish cleaning it off and make sure it gives a nice 4-cornered, even border for the entire window. Once you've completed the borders, you're going to flip the paper over and get your cellophane bag, and making sure that the closed end is at the bottom, you're going to take your knife and mark roughly 1 centimeter margins from the actual size of the window. Once you finish marking, you're going to take your paper cutter or your scissors and you're just going to cut along those markings to produce the size that you need. I actually like using the paper cutter more than the scissors, just because it's straighter lines and it's faster, but if you don't have a paper cutter, scissors will do perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. It doesn't need to be perfect. Afterwards, you're going to go in with your Tombow glue tape or whatever other glue tape you have on hand, and you're going to apply that adhesive on all 4 edges on the back side of the window collage. And then this way you can place that cut cellophane bag on top of it, making sure that one side of it is secure. But make sure that you leave one flap open, because you're going to place Levi inside of it. Taking your Levi figure that you cut out earlier in the beginning, you're going to take your glue tape and apply the adhesive on the center of his body. Don't do it on his arms. And then you're going to take that body and place it in the center, making sure that his wrists align with the edges of the window. And then you're going to close that flap and make sure that he's nice and secure inside of the bag. So go with your finger to run it over a few times to make sure that it's sticking nicely. And now we finally arrive to my favorite part of the whole process, which is putting his fingers through the cellophane so that we can really get that effect of opening the window just like he did in the anime. So for this part, you're going to take your knife and you're going to make small slits along his wrist in the cellophane bag, but making sure you're only doing this on the front layer of the cellophane and not the back layer. And then once you're done with that, you're going to flip it back over and then take his hands and shove it through that small slit. And I know this process is a little bit hard, but you can be as rough as you want to be with it. You know, it doesn't really matter if his fingers all crinkled up and it looks fucked up. It's okay. Either way, even if you break his fingers, Levi is still going to be Levi. He's still going to be humanity's strongest soldier. We all know that. So, but also it's paper. So as long as you don't actually rip the paper, which I've done before, and you do not want to do that, so be careful of doing that. It doesn't really matter how rough you are. See, as like when I flip it back over, it looked really fucked up, but it's easy to flatten out since it's just paper. And then once you've done that, you're going to go in with your glue tape adhesive, and you're going to apply the adhesive all over his fingers. Try to get all to the end of his fingertips, and then you're going to glue that on to the door, inside of the door. And you're going to do the same thing for the other side as well, and making sure that it's nicely applied so that there's no loose fingertips just like flying around. And for the final step, you're simply going to take some regular tape and you're going to seal that extra back flap just so you don't have any loose ends when you're trying to play with your Levi window collage. And there you have it. This is the final product of the Levi window collage. I decided not to show you guys the decorating process with the washi tape, stickers, white pen, and the stamps, just because it's up to you how you choose to customize it, and I don't want to tell you how to decorate something. You can make it a birthday card or whatever, but I just chose to show you the important steps. So there you go. I hope that tutorial was helpful. I don't know if you have any questions still lingering. If you do, feel free to leave it in the comments below. And also, if you have any ideas for what you want to see next from me, I'm probably going to make more of these sort of tutorials of like the crackhead pose that I've made, like the gojo like zigzag slider thing, or the bokuto ass shaking thing, whatever. Like I'll probably make tutorials for all of them eventually, but comment below what you want to see next, or if there's any other content that you want to see more from me on here on YouTube, feel free to suggest that in the comments as well. I'm also going to add some suggestions for stickers and washi tapes and the stamps in the description box below, just so if you want to decorate it the same way that I did, then you know where to get those materials. But yeah, that's basically all I had. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all your support. Hope to see you next time. Bye.